My name is Rafi Mediavilla from Criticologos.com. Madelaine, thank you for taking a little bit of time to talk about the movie, the trilogy, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Listen, I think it's fair to talk about Maya's journey from chapter one to chapter three. She has gone from so many emotions. So I wonder, what did you feel helped you as an actress channel all those different emotions from chapter one to chapter three?
Honestly, I took so many notes for each scene. I knew exactly where she was at any given time. I was very prepared for like what exactly had happened in the moment before and the moment after. So my notes were really what held me through all three films because we shot them all at the same time. But also I was really lucky to work on a set where I was given the full scope of the environment. Like I didn't have to act out sounds, like the sounds were being made for me, the characters were always there. I always got to act with the things that were actually happening. There wasn't a ton of VFX to make it happen. And when things are practical, it makes it so much easier as an artist, obviously.
That was awesome. Maya in chapter three, what I loved about her, she was silent, she was meticulous, she knew what she was doing this time around to survive her situation. She embodied to me the definition of a final girl. You know, now you become part of this group of elite actresses like Neve Campbell and Jamie Lee Curtis. What does this mean to you?
Oh my goodness, it's such a huge honor. I grew up watching horror films. I mean, that my biggest mission at my local Blockbuster was to watch every horror film in the section. So to me, to be a part of, these elite actresses, Sigourney Weaver, Jamie Lee Curtis, Neve Campbell, there's so many talented actresses. It's a huge honor. I mean, it's kind of like the dream, right?
Of course, of course. Something that I wanted to ask you is obviously it has been such a long journey that you said you were able to record all these different movies all together. What is something that stood out to you that you said you loved the most about Maya's journey while portraying her character?
I think while finding her, being able to find the catharsis of the kind of caterpillar to butterfly that she is, and finding those meaty middle parts. Like obviously the beginning and the end, most people know where she starts and where she's going to end. If she's becoming a final girl, she's going to ultimately take power into her own hands. But that middle part where she's trying to just decide if it's worth it to survive, if death is actually easier for her, that was the most fun to play with as an artist. Is like all I had so much time during the second movie to really fine tune her survival instincts and her will to survive. That was probably the most challenging and fun as an artist.
Awesome. The ending, the ending is a fitting ending, but it also gives a little bit of gives you a little bit of intrigue. If a chapter four wait made to come about, where did you see Maya going this time around?
I love leaving that up to the audience's interpretation. I think when I decided, I asked them if I could grab that object when I'm walking up the hill and have it for one. I was like, can we do one take with the object and one take without the object? And they ended up using the take with the object. My intention was always that she's got nothing left to live for. They've actually, because to me, I believe that Scarecrow, the entire trilogy, saw something in her and wanted to indoctrinate her into their cult, so you say. And so I think it's more interesting if it worked, if she becomes one, if she carries it on. But it's up to the audience's interpretation about like how it actually unfolds for them. And I like that. I think it's fun to have things to talk about when a movie's over and question and be like, no, but she did this and this part, does that mean she wouldn't or she would? I just think that makes film fun.
The ending is going to do that. The ending did that for me, and I absolutely loved it. Let's talk a little about Renny. Working with Renny as a director, he has a correct career. He loves this sort of type of movies. Did he did we, he was able to work with you in a personal way? Did he give you space to improvise, or were you just following his lead all the way from chapter one to chapter three?
Oh, Rennie was so respectful of my process and so collaborative that by the time that they offered me the movie, he was like, Maya is yours. I now trust you with the character more than I trust myself with the character. So you tell me what your instincts are and I will follow accordingly. And I think that's such a blessing. And it's really rare for somebody who's got such a crazy filmography to be so humble and to be so willing to allow an artist to come in and make their own version of something was really wonderful. He's wonderful.
That's time for me. Thank you. Congratulations again for the movie, and I love what I saw. And that ending, I absolutely loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.